Another do not for buyers who are going through the buying process or preparing to buy. Don't get excited and start buying blinds and furniture and paint and mattresses and decor and pictures and things like that. Don't do it. What happens if you have a shift in your thoughts about the buying process? What happens if the lender says you need 6 months and then the design trend changes? Don't buy anything, because at this point, everything's premature. If you purchase anything, you could be ahead of yourself and you have a tendency to possibly change your mind. So hold on before you actually make the purchases, accept their cash purchases, and keep your receipt, because you may end up taking things back. People do it every day, all day. Don't even buy appliances, washer, dryer, unless you just have to have it. And you can pay cash, especially if you are going through the financing process or you're preparing to finance a home, because again, that debt to income could have risen. You may have had a $7,000 credit limit for Lowe's or Home Depot or the appliance store, and now you've charged up. So now your debt to income has risen. The debt has risen compared to what you had available. That could cause you to be denied. Here's one of the worst scenarios for you of the reason why you don't want to go and buy furniture or lighting fixtures or anything to go into the house. Blinds, none of it. I had a buyer who was actually making the purchase, and when I tell you the buyer was doing everything right, ABC 1, 2, 3, no issues, no problems, and the seller had a death in the family and was no longer interested in selling that house. Now the buyer had already gone out and made purchases. They actually had the windows measured for custom blinds because they weren't just your standard window sizes. She spent a couple of $1,000s on blinds for a home that now she could not purchase because life happened to the seller. And it wasn't just because they didn't want to sell the house, but life happened and the buyer was left holding the bag. And we told them there are some do nots when you're actually going through the home buying process. So if you're purchasing, if you're thinking about purchasing, don't get so excited. It's very exciting, but don't get so excited that you start making premature purchases. Wait until the very end, because at the end of the day, there was nothing that I could do to shift and change that for my buyer. And she knew she didn't listen to how we had advised her. Tough situation, but it could possibly happen. We're here to protect you and to make sure it goes as smooth as possible. The agent on the other side was apologetic. The seller was even apologetic, but there's nothing that we could do. And there were some repercussions. There are parts of the contract that protect you, but it doesn't protect you from buying blinds. You don't get to recoup your money for blinds and things of that sort. So things can happen throughout a transaction. That's what we're really here for, is to protect you through those times and make sure that you don't do things prematurely, but also make sure that you're making good decisions. And not buying blinds was a part of the good decision, but she didn't listen, and that was the result. So listen to your real estate agent and listen to the lender. They are here to make sure you make good decisions. That's why I make checklists and I hand it to people and say, here's what happens next, so you'll know what happens next. Find a realtor like that. Someone is going to tell you, here's the next step, and after that, this is the next step, and after that, this is the next step, and after that, so that you won't miss a beat and you'll know what to anticipate. It just takes all the questions out of everything. And if you don't find that realtor, let me know, and I'll make sure you have it. So if you want to know more about home buying, direct message me or check out my most recent videos.